Hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest edition of the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar Podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Elyachar. I am the chief content producer and writer of the Jake's Take website, that specializes in pop culture and entertainment news. Today, I want to introduce you guys to a really good friend of mine. He and I know each other since Blink Fitness. We met almost 2 years ago. He is probably a rising star in his field of entrepreneurship and coaching. Please help me welcome Jordan Gross.
Hey, what's up, Jacob? Thank you so much for that kind intro. Super excited to be chatting with you. I know we're in the midst of an unprecedented time here on March 23rd in New York City. So it's a little bit crazy, but you and I are getting the chance to still talk. I know we wanted to do this in person, but that's not a possibility anymore. So I'm just glad we're here, and I'm excited to chat for the next little bit.
I'm excited to chat with you. So let's get started. When did you get interested in entrepreneurship?
Yeah, so I always love that question. I try to switch up stories here and there, but I really always come back to this first story of September 20th, 2001. And I was a 7-year-old kid living on Long Island in New York. And if you're thinking about that time I just said, September 20th, 2001, it was 9 days after 9/11. And as a little guy, I didn't understand the magnitude of what was going on, but I could feel that something was off. I knew that things were going wrong around me, and people were acting differently, and parents were upset, and teachers were acting different. And I didn't like when people felt different. I didn't like to see people look sad. So what I did was I gathered up a group of my friends, and I lived in a suburban neighborhood, Dix Hills, Long Island, in New York. And we went out on a busy corner, and we made a lemonade stand. And we sold lemonade, and we sold cookies, and we wore funny hats, and we sold funny hats, and we gave away candy and things like that. And we brought the community together that day. But it wasn't just to make a shiny quarter and put it in our piggy banks. We donated all of the proceeds from the lemonade stand to local charities supporting families who were affected by 9/11. So not only was that my first entrepreneurial experience, but also most of the entrepreneurial endeavors that I pursue have sort of social impact to them. They have sort of this philanthropic feel to them as well. So that was my first entryway into this world. And then I think entrepreneurship has always been in the back of my mind since then, but I didn't fully embrace it until I was getting my master's when I was 21, 22.
Awesome. So, guys, just to let you know, Jordan has 2 different brands. The first brand I want to talk to you about is Getting Comfy. 2 years ago, you created it, and can you describe it to my listeners?
Yes. So I was working in the corporate world. I was doing a leadership and rotational program, and it was really intense. I was working like 14 or 15-hour days, and people who were in the same program as me were leaving work sometimes with tears streaming down their face just because of the extent of the work that we were putting in. But there I was. I came into work every day with a big smile on. I was positive, pretty much stress-free, even though it was a chaotic environment. And my coworkers would always ask me, why are you this way? And I said, well, first, I don't know. I've just kind of always been pretty upbeat, pretty happy, pretty optimistic guy, kind of laid back. But also, I think, I walk in the door every day in a good mood because of my morning routine. And they're like, we get here so early. How do you have a morning routine? And I'm like, well, I just kind of maximize my time. I wake up a half hour earlier, and I practice this comfy routine that I do every morning. And they asked me what it was, and then I described it to them, and that's what comfy turned into. So I think we'll have a little fun, Jacob, and we'll do a little bit of the routine, you and I, and then I'll just share what the rest is, okay?
All righty.
So for C, we're just going to take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth on 3, okay? 1, 2, 3. So we already just banged out the first part of the morning routine, which stands for calm. So the thing about my morning routine is that I like routine, but I don't like monotony. So COMFY is an acronym for buckets, not specific things. So calm could be deep breathing like we just did. It could be yoga. It could be meditation. It could be chopping vegetables. It could be going for a walk. Anything that's going to calm you down. So then we go into O. O, I won't give it away just yet, but Jacob, tell me something that you accomplished today. What did you accomplish so far today?
I think I accomplished doing some research for JavaScript and also scheduling some interviews, plus looked for 2 different jobs.
Perfect. That's great. So what you just did was you took part in openness. You opened up, right? You opened up to me, so you can either open up to another person, make a phone call, send a message, or you can open up to yourself, and that's by journaling. You can write down what you're grateful for. You can write down your accomplishments. You can write down your fears, biggest challenges, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities that are coming up in your world. The point of openness is to get things out of your mind and out into the world. So that's O. I'll just breeze through the next 3 for the sake of time here, but M is where you and I met. So M is movement. And you want to move your body, you want to really kickstart your day by getting your body moving, which gets your brain going. A lot of information on exercise. Jacob, as you know, I also do a little side gig as a personal trainer, so that's just super important to me to start my day on that note. F stands for funny. So I like to smile in the morning. I like to laugh. I like to make sure I'm not taking myself too seriously so that I can respond appropriately to so many different things that come up throughout the day. And then finally, Y stands for you, or your passion, or your choice. And it's this way to culminate the morning routine and finish the morning routine by doing something that you want to do rather than have to do. And that's the whole point of a morning routine. It's to focus on yourself. It's the opportunity to be selfish, even though you could be the most selfless person in the world. You're just taking this time to do what you want to do, what you love to do. So that's the COMFY. And that was my first book. I self-published a book after my friends were asking me how I had this morning routine, and I built from there.
Awesome. And I gotta say, you actually did a tremendous job because you transformed your blog into the book. And what were some of the challenges you faced transforming the blog into the book?
So essentially, they kind of converge at the same time. So the content on the blog was all based on my morning routine advice. It was based on productivity advice, positive energy advice. So I was writing articles in relation to the comfy mindset, because comfy is not just a morning routine anymore. It's sort of this mindset about overcoming any kind of discomfort in your life, right? It's about getting comfy with the uncomfy, I call it. And so as I tried to grow my platform and build up the blog, it was really just a way for me to gain some traction before I self-published the book. So it was the challenge, I'd say, would be coming up with original content that was not revealing too much about what I was going to share in the book.
Awesome. Now, guys, Jordan actually presented Getting Comfy to TED Talks, which I think is a pretty big deal in our world of inspiration and also entrepreneurship. So what did it mean to you to actually be selected and actually have the opportunity to present?
Yeah, so I really appreciate that because it was a great experience, and I'll just caveat this by saying I was able to get invited to a TED Talk not because I'm a big deal or anything like that, but because I love people and I love to creatively get myself into different doors. So the way that I got to TED Talk was actually by networking with somebody who I saw hosted a TED event, and I added value to her world. She was a teacher, so I sent her the book saying that it would help her students when they came in the morning so they'd be more energized. I said it might even help her as a teacher be more energized when she came in the morning to her classroom. And ultimately, we had this back and forth conversation, and I mentioned that she was a TEDx organizer, and I was aspiring speaker, TEDx speaker. And she ultimately ended up inviting me to give the talk, and I didn't even have to apply or anything like that. So I just want to say that if you are listening and you do want to do a TED Talk or you do want to pursue something that you think you have no business doing, really use the power of relationships, the power of creative networking, adding value to other people in order to give yourself the best opportunity to go through that different door and open up a new avenue for yourself. So I definitely wanted to preface the story with that. But yeah, for me, the experience was pretty amazing. I went up to Clinton, New York, to Clinton Middle School. It's upstate. And it was cool. It was actually professional speaker, or I put that in air, professional speaker. I don't know if I'm a professional yet, but and then after me it was student speaker. So it was like a middle schooler kind of talking about the same inspirational and motivational ideas, but maybe just from a different perspective with the life experience that they have. And then it was professional speaker, and then student speaker, and then it went back and forth and back and forth. So it was really, really cool TEDx event. And I shared about the comfy routine, and more so, what I wanted to do was provide a very tangible how. So I think we can all speak to the fact that in this time that we're living in, people are always telling us to get outside of our comfort zones and push our comfort zones and live on the other side of fear, right? But that's really hard. That's a big challenge, and nobody tells us how to get outside of our comfort zone. They just expect us to go do it, right? So I shared this comfy routine, the COMFY, not just as a morning routine, but also as a way so that before anything you're doing that's outside your comfort zone, you can get calm, you can open up, you can move, you can, watch something funny and do something for you so that you feel a little bit more comfortable going into whatever it is that may be scary or anxiety-inducing.
Awesome. Now, another brand that Jordan is a part of and created is called Cloud9 Living. So what are some of the similarities and differences between Comfy and Cloud9?
Yeah, so Cloud9 is the new book, the new idea, the new coaching, the new speaking that I've been doing. I just gave that TED Talk a couple of weeks ago. So the similarities are that I'm always about personal development. I'm always about simplifying complex positive psychology topics, right? So thinking about positivity and meaning and purpose and fulfillment and human connection. How can I simplify those categories in order to speak to the masses, right? So those are the real similarities, and it's all based in living an optimal life and following and living a life of your dreams. So they're pretty similar at the end of the day, but the main difference, I would say, especially in the overall product, right? My books are, for me, I want them to be the main product. I want to be an author moving forward. Getting Comfy was a traditional self-help book, whereas The Journey to Cloud9 is an allegory. It's a fictional tale where I did all of this research. I interviewed hundreds of people about how they live a Cloud9 life. But what I did was I didn't just share that research. I created a story. I had some fun with it so that the reader is able to interpret the life lessons through this meaningful, impactful, unique story as opposed to just be told the advice in a traditional self-help type of way. So that's the primary core difference.
Awesome. So I did some digging on your website, and
I
noticed some familiar names and some big names in our self-help and entrepreneurship world that actually praise you. Daniel H. Pink, positive psychology pioneer Margaret H. Greenberg, and not to mention one of the top marketing and customer service gurus, Peter Shankman. So what did it mean to you to receive not only to receive their praise, but also their endorsements?
Yeah, so again, it comes down to the intentionality behind building relationships that I've been doing ever since I quit that job 2 years ago. I've really put a lot of time into going to events and meeting people and continuing to add value to them, even though, maybe I didn't have that much to add to somebody like Daniel Pink or Margaret or Peter. But just, being an active participant in their lives, checking in, seeing how they were doing, so that when there was something for me to ask of them, it wasn't just this kid coming back around and saying, hey, can you endorse me, even though I've done nothing for you or I haven't reached out to you in a year or two. I was a constant part of their lives, trying to just make them a little bit better as best that I could. So again, just like with the TED Talk, it's about this this creativity in the way that you build relationships in order to have those kinds of meaningful, impactful relationships. And what it meant to me for them to endorse the book, it was really cool. It was obviously, as somebody in the personal development world, I don't often seek out or recommend external validation as a means of self-fulfillment, but in this case, the external validation was very cool because they read the book, they enjoyed the book, they shared some wonderful words about the book, and not only that, but I think those three in particular, they compared the book to some of my all-time favorites, like The Alchemist or Eat, Pray, Love, or Life of Pi was what Margaret said as well. And then they also shared that they think this book could be a novel concept for the way that I write moving forward. So it's definitely a boost. It was definitely a pat on the back to, make me realize the work that I'm doing has potential and it could really go somewhere. But just to start, it was a cool accomplishment to have, enjoying the success and that victory while I do have it, but then just getting back to work and going to the next thing.
Awesome. So you just launched the Journey to Cloud9 podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So can you describe the podcast to my listeners, and who have you talked to so far?
Yeah, so the Journey to Cloud9 podcast is just another way for me to expand the platform. It's really fun. It's like these 10 to 20 minute conversations. I ask the same 9 questions. If you haven't noticed, it's very symbolic. The Journey to Cloud9. I ask everyone 9 questions about their Cloud9 life. Where I basically take people from around the world, and it was the research that I did for this. I asked them how they live a Cloud9 day. I asked them how they have a Cloud9 morning. I asked them what a Cloud9 life means to them. I asked them about a time that they truly felt like they were on Cloud9. What's that Cloud9 moment? I asked them to share how they would put others on Cloud9. So it's just this opportunity for me to share other people's perspectives as to what this Cloud9 life means to them. And aside from the podcast, that question I asked that says, tell me about a time you truly felt like you were on Cloud9, I turn that into a short video and I send that out to my email list. So every Tuesday and Thursday, they're getting this quick, about 90-second clip of daily inspiration, daily happiness. So it's really fun. I do it because I love it. I'm still having those conversations. Like at first it was just the research, but I continue to do it because I really enjoy it. And I've had really, really amazing guests on the podcast. Everything from, former priests to former professional athletes to billionaires to New York Times bestselling authors to bodybuilders, just to normal people like my friends. There have been a lot of different perspectives on there that are really, really quite refreshing and amazing, and will make you realize that you are living your Cloud9 life, no matter where you're at.
Awesome. So who would be your dream guest to be on your podcast? If you had the opportunity to connect with anybody in the world and invite them on to the podcast, who would it be and why?
Yeah, this is like my dream dinner guest. It's my dream podcast guest. He's my favorite writer, storyteller. It's Mitch Albom. He wrote the 5 People Me in Heaven, Tuesdays with Morrie. Mitch's work has so much influenced the way that I want to share messages with the world through this very powerful, this very moving type of story. And getting his assessment of what a Cloud9 life really means, after having read all the people who he's met, after having realized all of the experiences he's had, after having seen how his life has unfolded, he'd definitely be the number one person I'd want to chat with, podcast or not.
Awesome. So, if you had met someone who wanted to go into your field, what advice would you share with them?
Yeah, so I'll share 2 pieces of advice. The first is chop wood, carry water. And what I mean by that is to enjoy every single part of the process, enjoy every single part of the journey of the field that you're getting into. Because especially writing in the personal development world as a young person, like if we're literally talking that route you want to take, it's very, very challenging to find the overnight success that you want. So chop wood, carry water means everything you do matters, and get used to, enjoying the actual the writing process, the behind the scenes process, the marketing process. Enjoy it all, because if you're looking for fame and stardom in the route that I took, it's going to take a long time, so you might as well enjoy that journey. So that's the first piece. And then quite simply, the second piece that I would say is just do it. Once you do decide to take this route, do it without any regret whatsoever. So that's the message behind living a Cloud9 life. It's that you're going to have decisions to make, and you can either take it one route or you can take it another route. And I'm not saying either route is necessarily correct, but what I am saying is once you do decide on a particular route, do it with all of your might. Don't think, what if I could have gone the other route? Oh, what if I should have gone the other route? Just go that route and have faith in the route that you ended up deciding to choose. So those two pieces of advice.
Wonderful, Jordan. So where can my listeners connect with you?
Connecting, the best place to be would be LinkedIn. It's Jordan Gross on LinkedIn. And I'm on there all the time, so I respond on there. It's not like a virtual assistant or anything like that.
Alrighty, guys. You can connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. That is Jacob Elyachar, JACOB ELYACHAR. Once again, JACOB ELYACHAR. You can also go on to read more stories. Head to jakestake.com. Once again, it's jakes-take.com. You can also go on Spreaker and Apple Podcasts to listen to more interviews. Jordan, thank you so much for coming on my blog and my podcast. I gotta say, I really, truly enjoyed our conversation, and I cannot wait to catch up with you soon.
You too, Jacob. Thank you so much, and stay safe, stay healthy.
I will. Have a great day, guys. Bye.